Hello everyone, myself Ashwini Khalkar, Assistant Professor from Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Gangapur Road, Nasik. So, dear student, first of all, we will recapitulate our previous lecture, that is on scanning tunneling electron microscopy. So, in that lecture, we already studied tunneling effect. So, what is tunneling effect? In same or TEM means in scanning electron microscopy and transmission electron microscopy, we simply used electron, and in scanning tunneling electron microscopy, we used wave. Okay, so means electron as a wave. So see here, the electron that we used in electron microscopy behaves like a particle, and electron we used in scanning tunneling electron microscopy behaves like a wave. This is main difference. Okay, so the wave is called as quantum mechanics, means the electron we used in scanning tunneling electron microscopy behaves like a wave, and this is called as quantum mechanics. Okay, and this STEM is based on tunneling effect of quantum physics. Okay, so see here, this electron behaves like a particle. That electron goes on wall and reflect. Okay, see here, this electron go on wall and again reflected. Now see here, this electron which is like as a wave, that wave passing, when electron behaves like a wave, that wave then means that electron has capability to pass through that wall, and this is called as quantum tunneling effect. Okay, this is main difference. Okay, means here the electron is reflected. Okay, here the electron which is behaves like particle, that electron is reflected, and here the electron which is behaves like a wave, that wave is passing through a wall. Okay, and this is known as quantum tunneling. Okay, now this is a simple principle. Okay, now in our last lecture we also see a instrumentation of scanning tunneling electron microscopy. As you can see here, in STEM means scanning tunneling electron microscopy. Always remember. Okay, it is a short form of scanning tunneling electron microscopy, STEM. This is a, see here, this is a tip. Okay, this is a tip, usually a tungsten tip. This is a sample, and voltage is applied between tip and sample, means the external voltage is applied between tip and this sample and it become tunnel to a amplifier. Okay, and this tip is tunnel to a amplifier, because the thing is whatever the current is generated low for detector to detect. Okay, then what we need amplifier to amplify the signal. Okay, for amplifying that signal coming out from that tip, we need that amplifier because this tunneling current amplified current which is coming from the tunneling effect between the tip and the sample, and we get that after that we have a control unit, okay, and scanning unit, and then the last is display. Okay, means simply the instrumentation is said that this is a simple tip, this is a sample surface, these both are joined to a external voltage. After that there is a amplifier which is amplify a signal, then there is a distance control unit, that is scanning unit, and after scanning unit there is a data processing or display which gives our image. Okay, this is a simple instrumentation of scanning tunneling electron microscopy, STEM. Okay, this is a whole idea about our previous lecture. Okay, so I think you understand these things. Now let's move toward our today's point, that is on UV spectroscopy. Okay, today's our point is UV spectroscopy. Okay, so content of our today's lecture: introduction, principle and components of UV. There is a 6 components of UV. First is light source, second is monochromata, third is sample holder, after that there is a detector, then there is an amplifier, then there is a recorder. Okay, so in our today's lecture we are going to learn these introduction, principle and components of UV. Out of these 6, in our today's lecture we are going to see these: light source, monochromator and sample holder. Okay, now move towards introduction. So what is UV spectroscopy? Okay, now UV spectroscopy is the measurement of attenuation of beam of light passing through a sample or after reflection from a sample surface. Okay, it is based on electronic excitation. This is idea about UV spectroscopy. So let's move toward principle. So principle of UV is that UV spectroscopy. First of all, UV spectroscopy is an absorption spectroscopy. Okay, it is based upon phenomenon of electronic excitation. Okay, so in UV radiations, in UV spectroscopy, UV radiations are passed through a sample. The atom or a molecule absorb energy, and most from ground state to excited state. Okay, means when electrons are passed, then most of electrons are passed from ground state to excited state. This is a electronic transition. Okay, and thus the excitation is detected by a detector and amplified and then recorded by using detector. This is a simple principle of UV spectroscopy, which is simply based on electronic excitation. Okay, now move toward instrumentation. Okay, so component of UV is light source, monochromator, sample holder, detector, amplifier and recorder. Okay, so first we will see light sources, which is radiation source. Okay, so see here, in UV visible spectrophotometer works in 200 to 1100 nanometer in range. Okay, radiation sources are used to provide radiation of required wavelength. Okay, means the use of radiation source is to provide radiation of required wavelength. There is a criteria for selection of radiation sources. So, first criteria is it must be stable. Okay, means that radiation source which is must be stable. Second criteria is it must be of sufficient intensity for detection at the end of the optical path. This is second criteria. Now third, it must give continuous radiation. Okay, this is important. Means it gives a continuous radiation over an entire wavelength region in which it is used. Okay, this is a criteria for selection of radiation sources. See here, these are the types of radiation source, that is lamp. First is tungsten lamp, second is deuterium lamp, third one is mercury arc lamp, then xenon discharge lamp, and then there is a hydrogen discharge lamp. These five are the types of radiation sources. That's why there is a criteria for selection of radiation source. Okay, we already see the criteria, that is it must be stable, means that these are must be stable, it must be sufficient intensity for detector at the end of optical path, and last criteria is it must give continuous radiation over an entire wavelength region in which it is used. Okay, now we will see first, sorry, first we see the information of tungsten lamp. Okay, one by one we see all these lamps. First we see tungsten lamp. Okay, it is means this tungsten lamp is similar to an electric light bulb. Means this tungsten lamp is similar to our electric bulb lamp. In this lamp, tungsten filament is heated electrically to white heat. Okay, it gives visible and near IR radiations. Okay, this is a basic idea about this tungsten lamp. It has some advantages. Means it is stable lamp, robust and easy to use. It also have some disadvantages, that is intensity of radiation is short wavelength, means it is small. Okay, this is a disadvantage of this tungsten lamp. Okay, now move toward deuterium lamp. Okay, construction and working is same as that of hydrogen discharge lamp. We also see this hydrogen discharge lamp, and construction and working of this deuterium lamp, which is similar to the hydrogen discharge lamp. Okay, deuterium gas is filled in the lamp. In this deuterium lamp there is a deuterium gas which is filled. Okay, it has advantages that emitted radiation are 3 to 5 times more intense than hydrogen discharge lamp. Okay, and it is more expensive. Always remember, it is more expensive. This is a disadvantage of deuterium lamp. Okay, now next is mercury. Now next is mercury arc lamp. Okay, mercury vapor is stored under a high pressure. Okay, we all know mercury vapor is stored under a high pressure. Okay, working is same as a hydrogen discharge lamp. It do not give continuous spectra. It gives sharp line or bands. It is useful for calibration purpose. Okay, this is a basic idea about mercury arc lamp. Now next is xenon discharge lamp. In xenon discharge lamp, xenon gas is stored under a high pressure. Okay, generally it is about 10 to 30 atmosphere. Okay, approximately. Now next is xenon discharge lamp has two tungsten electrode separated by about 8 mm from each other. Okay, voltage difference is maintained between them, and when the current pass through them, a intense arc is produced. Okay, see here, when a current pass through them, a intense arc is produced between the electrodes. Okay, due to pressure and electric exist heating, xenon gas start emitting radiations. Okay, I repeat that sentence. Due to pressure and electric heating, xenon gas start emitting radiation. Okay, now next point is it gives intense UV radiations. Okay, this is the idea about xenon discharge lamp. Now, last one is hydrogen hydrogen discharge lamp. Okay, this deuterium lamp and mercury lamp, which are similar to hydrogen discharge lamp. In this lamp, sorry, in this lamp, a pair of electrode is enclosed in glass or quartz tube. Hydrogen gas is stored under a relative high pressure. Electric current is passed through the pair of electrodes. Hydrogen molecules are excited electrically, and then they emit UV radiations. Due to high pressure and electrical heating, hydrogen molecules collide with each other, and this collision will increase, and hydrogen molecules will emit radiation as continuous band spectra. Okay, this is the idea about pressure and electrical heating. Okay, means due to high pressure, see here, due to high pressure and electrical heating, hydrogen molecules collide with each other, and this collision will increase, and hydrogen molecules will emit radiation as a continuous band spectra. Okay, this is a basic idea about hydrogen discharge lamp. Okay, these are the 5 types of lamp. Okay, now move toward filters next component, that is monochromator and filter. Okay, radiation source emit polychromatic radiation. Polychromatic radiations are not useful for analysis. That's why we used monochromator. Okay, filter and monochromator are used to convert polychromatic radiation into a monochromatic radiations. Okay, means poly means more than one. Okay, that more than one means 2 or 3 radiations are converted into a single radiation. This is the use of filters and monochromator. Okay, filter has 2 types. First one is absorption filter and interference filter. Okay, now see here monochromator. Monochromator has entrance slit, dispersing element, that is prism and grating, and then there is a exit slit. The use of prism is when light pass through a prism, it gets separated into different colors. And grating, it is consist of large number of parallel lines rules on highly polished surface of aluminum. Okay. Then there is a exit slit. These are the parts of monochromator. See here in schematic of monochromator. Here source, here entrance slit. This is mirror first, this is grating, this is mirror second, this is a screen or detector. Okay, this is a schematic of monochromator. Okay, now next is sample cell. Okay, cell holding sample should be transparent in working range. Choice of sample depends upon first is transmission characteristics at desired wavelength. Second is path length, shape and size. Third one is relative expense. Okay, these are the choice of sample cell depend upon these three things. Okay, in visible spectrophotometer, that is colorimeter, glass cuvette is used. In UV visible spectrophotometer, quartz cuvette is used. Okay, this is a half idea about instrumentation of UV. Okay, remaining parts, that is detector and amplifier, recorder and readout device, we will see in next lecture. Okay, so thank you dear students.